What up, YouTube? Welcome back to a new video. If this is your first time here on the channel, thanks so much for stopping by. Definitely check out some of my other videos. And if you like what you see, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Some of you might not know this, but one of my favorite games of all time, hands down, is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I like to think that that game is one of the reasons why I got into gaming as a hobby. It was the first game that I had ever beaten on my own. I didn't have any help from my brother or my cousins or anything like that. And it just touched me. It was captivating. I was at that right age to play the game. The music, the overworld, just the graphics, everything about that game was just amazing to me. And still to this day it is. Y'all also know that I love indie games. I love a good indie. So today I wanted to talk about a game that recently came out. I was provided a code, but I'm going to be straight up with y'all. Even if I wasn't provided a code, it's not often that I do reviews, right? But I would have made a dedicated video for this game anyway, just because I like this game a whole bunch, and I feel like you will too. So the game that I want to talk a bit about today, it's called Spindle. I'm going to cut right to the chase here because I feel like y'all deserve to know what's up, all right? I mentioned Zelda in the beginning of this video, A Link to the Past specifically. A Link to the Past, you take that game, you take a little bit of Death's Door, you take a little bit of Spiritfarer. If y'all played indies, you know what's up. You take that game and throw some retro, old school graphics on it, you're gonna have Spindle. And boy, oh boy, it's a good time. The whole premise behind the narrative of Spindle is what I love the most. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You wake up as Death, and I'm not gonna give away too much of the narrative because I feel like that's the special part of the game. But you wake up as Death, all right? And yes, I mean Death. Okay, you have the cape, you got the scythe. I mean all of that. You're Death, okay? And you're not quite sure why or why you were picked to be Death. But you also have this pig companion, all right? And he's alongside with you for this adventure. And he's the cutest little pig ever. He's adorable and super helpful as well. But anyway, you're Death, you got your pig partner in crime, and the whole concept around the game is about death itself, like the whole concept of death. And you're basically throughout this world going around, and you are finding lost souls. Let's just say that you're finding lost souls and kind of letting them go so that these lost souls can be at peace. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little deep. It's a little deep. I honestly was not expecting a narrative in this game at all. And I definitely wasn't expecting for it to be so touching. It's a touching story. It's witty. It's clever. I think that the narrative, the writing is clever. It's done really well. And it is deep, y'all. It honestly is. Visually speaking, I think Spindle looks fantastic. It has that retro pixelated vibe that makes me feel super nostalgic, right? Like I miss games that sure a lot of games come out like this, right? But this looks super authentic. It looks like it could have been released back on the Super Nintendo. It's good stuff. I think the world is vibrant as far as the colors go. There's some cutscenes in there, and of course I feel like they're hand-drawn graphics, and I don't want to say something that's not true, but they definitely look hand-drawn to me. The cutscene graphics are beautiful. Visually, it just has the making of an old school Super Nintendo game, right? I mean, this is the type of game that you would have sat down on a Saturday morning and in the early 90s after you ate your bowl of cereal and turned on the television and played the game, right? It even has the screen shaking, like in A Link to the Past, you know how you might go to the right, left, down, up, whatever. You go one direction to another screen. The way it moves to that screen, it's a little bit of a screen shake. It's nostalgic for sure. I have an overworld. There's a big old overworld, and it's way bigger than I thought that it would ever be. You look at the map and you're like, wow, there's a lot of real estate here. Cool thing about the towns in this game, there are NPCs that you can speak with, right? Which isn't unusual. A lot of games have that. But when you speak to these NPCs, it's pretty awesome because these NPCs, like, they have their own personality. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that feels super unique. It almost makes it feel like the town is lived in. Everyone has their own problems and issues that's going on and things that they're trying to figure out. So that is one thing that I wanted to point out that I really was taken aback by, because I was like, wow, there has been a lot of thought and detail put into the writing in this game when it comes to something as simple as the NPCs in the town. I really like the overworld in this game. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies that you can explore. Also in the overworld, you can fish. There's a little fishing mini game in this game. Yes, you're fishing in Spindle. It's nothing crazy, super basic, but early on in the game, you'll come across an NPC, a character that is asking you to fill out his fishopedia. I think that's what he calls it. It's basically his fish encyclopedia. He needs all the fish in this world, right? So yeah, you can go around catching fish if you want. So there are dungeons in this game, just like there's dungeons in A Link to the Past, right? So in your dungeon is pretty much pretty much puzzle based. The dungeons are definitely focused on puzzles. Now, my issue with this game, okay, is that the fact that the puzzles aren't necessarily so challenging. The combat isn't either, but the puzzles, I feel like there could have been a little bit more oomph to the puzzles. Sometimes they're as simple as just like pushing a stone or something to another side. It's nothing too challenging at all. Combat isn't the strong suit for this game either. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with the combat. I just feel like it's a little basic. It's just a little basic. It doesn't do too much. You get some power moves in there, but for the most part, it's slashy. You know what I'm saying? You're slashing that scythe all around. You're doing your thing with it. You're beating up on the baddies and trying to get things done. It's fun if you enjoy the old school, like, retro action adventure games. You know what's up. You know what's up. You know what to expect. This game, Spindle, is definitely inspired by those games of the past. This is the time of year where a bunch of games come out, you know, and that's great for us that play video games, right? We have a variety of games to choose from. But you can look at it on the other aspect too, that kind of stinks for, you know, smaller games like this, smaller games like Spindle that come out and no one's really talking about it. And it really is a good game. It honestly is. So that's it, guys. I feel like I've gushed enough about Spindle, but I really have enjoyed the time that I've played with the game. If you've played Spindle, let me know what you think. If you haven't, let me even know if you've heard of Spindle. Also in the comment box below, let me know some of your favorite action adventure games that are retro inspired or just retro. As always, I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and I'll check you next time. Peace.